I always wondered, was the Jeep Liberty the better choice? Did I make a mistake by buying that Corolla? Hey, welcome back. Today I'm going to tell you how stupid I am, and I'm going to back that up with a story. A lot of you have seen my car story already about when I bought two Skylines. They were R32 GTS 4 sedans. So they were a four-door sedan, all-wheel drive with the RB engine, turbocharged, made just over 200 horsepower. They weren't fast. They were not Godzilla, but they were great fun cars. Now, some of you heard already if you watched that video. If you haven't watched that video, check it out over here after this video, of course. I had two Skylines. I drove one for a bit, then I sold it. The other one, I wasn't really feeling it because it was silver, so I had it for sale. An opportunity came for a trade. Now, I have not had good luck with trades, and I thought this time was going to be different. So the individual had a Jeep Liberty. When the Jeep Liberty first came out, we had actually looked at one because my wife really likes Jeeps. And I thought, well, let's go look at a Jeep Liberty. Those look like fun, they're inexpensive and whatever. We didn't end up buying a Liberty. We bought a Toyota Corolla instead, which was a big mistake. And I'll tell you about that in a different car story. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe down below, hit the bell so that when the video comes out telling you about my bad decision to buy a Toyota Corolla, you'll get notified and you can check that out. For now though, know that we bought a Corolla instead of a Jeep Liberty. And I always wondered, was the Jeep Liberty the better choice? Did I make a mistake by buying that Corolla? When this individual reached out to me and said, hey, I got a Jeep Liberty, are you interested in trading for your Skyline? And at the time, a cheap Jeep Liberty was selling for around $6,000 Canadian. My Skyline, being just a GTS 4, was only selling for about, $5,000, maybe $6,000 if you were lucky, but 5 was kind of the number. So I thought, okay, well, I might actually be trading up. I might be doing okay. I met with the individual at a mutually agreed place, and he test drove the Skyline and I test drove the Jeep Liberty, and everything seemed okay, but it had snowed and there was snow everywhere, and I didn't get a chance to really drive it very far to check it out very well. I decided, you know what, let's go for it. I'm kind of sick of the Skyline anyway. Let's do the trade. We do the trade. I drive home. I soon realized that the Jeep Liberty is actually a junk vehicle. I probably didn't make a mistake buying the Corolla instead way back when it was between a Corolla and a Liberty. I decided, this Liberty is not so great. It's only a 5-passenger. At the time, I had 4 of my kids still at home, and we didn't all fit in the car, which was my original problem with the Skyline. So we had a minivan, and then I had the Skyline. I then put the Liberty for sale, and I started listing it at, $6,000 because that's the low end of what a Liberty was selling for. And I soon realized that even though people are asking a lot of money for a Jeep Liberty, it's generally understood that Liberties are trash, and nobody's actually looking to buy a Jeep Liberty. Similar to my experience with my Ford Flex, which you may have already watched the video where I declare the Ford Flex to be the worst car ever. If you haven't seen that, it's up here, you can check that out. The Jeep Liberty is actually a close second for worst car ever, in my opinion, especially of vehicles that I've owned. I'm not getting a lot of traction, I'm not getting a lot of hits, not a lot of people asking about it. An individual reaches out to me and says, I wonder if you would be interested in trading your Jeep Liberty for a Chevy Venture minivan. And at the time, my wife was driving a brand new Honda Odyssey, which she loved, but we were looking at kind of reallocating some funds. We were trying to buy a new house, and we were trying to shed some debt and some payments. So I thought, well, if I trade the Liberty for this Venture, then I'll have a minivan and I can get my wife to drive the minivan, and then I can sell the Honda Odyssey, get rid of that payment, and then I'll just buy a cheap car for myself to drive. That way we can kind of reset and go and buy this new house. So I go and I look at this guy's Chevy Venture, and it's okay. It's obviously had children in it that threw up on the seats and dumped Cheerios down in the cracks. It was really dirty, and it had a lot of dog hair everywhere, and it smelled like the dogs had lived in the car. And I was getting rid of a trash vehicle, this crappy Jeep Liberty, and getting a Chevy Venture, which my sister had one. She thought it was great, and so I was going off her word about how great it is. And so I did the trade. I did actually end up being able to sell the Honda Odyssey, and then we were able to buy a new house. And then when we bought the new house, my wife came and said, "This Venture is garbage." At the same time, I had just purchased my first boat. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I've got a boat now and that I've done some surfing videos behind that boat. It's not an expensive boat, but it does the job. So this was our very first adventure at owning a boat. And that Chevy Venture did not enjoy towing the boat, and it wasn't meant to tow a boat. So we decided it was time to get a Suburban, which could hold the family and tow the boat and do everything else we need to do. And so that's what we did. I parked the Chevy Venture. Actually, I put it for sale because I just went and bought the Suburban, and at the time I was driving my newly imported Toyota Chaser Mark II, which I'll do a car story on that. So again, subscribe and check that out. So I had this van, so I put it for sale, and now it's getting to be winter, and nobody's really looking for a minivan for the winter. They're looking for minivans as road trip vehicles. I got it for sale, and I put it for sale for like $4,000. No interest. Dropped it to 3, no interest. Dropped it to 2, no interest. Dropped it to $1,400. I start to get interest. In the end, I sold this van to some old man who wanted to use it to haul paint around for his painting company, and he paid me, it was either $800 or $900 for this van. So I went from owning a Skyline R32 GTS4 to a Liberty, from a Liberty to a Chevy Venture, from a Chevy Venture to $800 or $900. That's why I am stupid. I've never actually done a good trade. Every time I think I'm doing a trade that is good, it goes horribly. I end up losing a lot of money on the trade, and I just get worse to worse to worse, and eventually just cut my loss and lose it all anyway. I should have kept that Skyline and just hung on to it and then sold it. Even if I sold it for $3,000, it would have been better than having that Chevy Venture. You win some and you lose some, and this one I definitely lost, and I don't want everyone thinking that I always win. Here's an example where I lose, and I lost hard. Tell me about one of your bad trades in the comments below. I want to hear what you guys have done. Am I the only one that's made such an awful decision? Or do you guys make bad decisions too? And if you do, then tell me about that below in the comments. If you're not subscribed, do so. Check out some of the other videos over here. We got a lot of great content in the back library. I hope you enjoyed this content. Have a great day.